Welcome back to Marketing Hotspots, where myself, John and Ben are here to help you identify the gold in selling to schools opportunities in the education sector. In each video, we'll dive into the upcoming events, themes and funding releases that will supercharge your next campaign. We've seen the impact that pairing your message around relevant occasions can have on engagement, lead generation and ultimately sales. Today, we focus on the marketing gems coming up in January and February when the promise of a new year cuts through the winter chill. Ben, set the scene for us.
Yes, so a new calendar year, a new term, it's a spring term or Lent term in some schools. It's the shortest term of the year and it begins with many secondary schools conducting mock exams and practice tests.
I think that's a really key point of the year actually. A lot of teachers and students get a real wake-up call with their mock exams. So any online learning providers or inspirational school speakers, that's a fantastic opportunity to swoop in there and offer a bit of a motivational pep talk.
Absolutely, and kind of revision classes and things kick in as well around this sort of time. With the end of the term being the end of the financial year, managers will have one eye on using up budgets for the end of the financial year, so it's good to try and get some sales in that back end of the financial year. And then you've got the school holiday, so after Christmas the next break is the spring half term, and that starts around the 12th of February for most schools.
And John, what are some of the major events happening in schools at this time?
Yeah, I think Parents' Evenings coming up in February is a really key time. That's a time when school leaders in particular are going to be very conscious about the impression their school is giving to visitors and their parent community in general. So any messages around their parent communication system, or perhaps even the first impression that their reception area or school foyer is giving to school visitors, those kind of messages are really going to resonate. We've also got Valentine's Day, and the Valentine's Day disco has become a real feature in many schools over the last few years. Schools will pick a charity to fundraise for during that event, and although most schools tell us they choose their charity 3 to 6 months in advance of a fundraising event, I think for Valentine's Day schools are only going to really start considering that after Christmas at the start of January, so a really good opportunity there for charities to get their message across.
Brilliant, yeah, so it's quite a key event there to target your campaigns around, and also they should be thinking about what sort of funding streams are available as well.
Yeah, that's right, so there's 4 different funding streams coming online again in the spring term. We've got the recovery premium, which is £1 billion worth of funding available to schools over 2022 to 23 and 23 into 24. And the second of 4 instalments is due in the spring term, and that's to help students that have fallen behind during the pandemic catch up. We've also got a pupil premium instalment coming online at the start of January. There's the National Tutoring Programme funding, that's at the end of January, and that's money set aside that schools can spend on tutoring their students. We work with a lot of tutoring providers, and that's obviously a really key date for them to contact those school leaders. And then in February we've got the PE and sports premium funding.
Excellent. So if you can speak to schools about how your particular solution can make use of some of those funds, it will go down really well in your marketing. Now, we've also thought a bit about awareness days, and I've asked John and Ben to pick some of the ones that stand out to them. So Ben, what did you go with?
Yeah, I chose National Storytelling Week. This is great for literacy, resources, edtech and online learning businesses to engage with. It's run by the National Literacy Trust, and it's encouraging young people from early years up to school leavers to use storytelling as a means of expression, and at the same time giving those all-important literacy skills a boost. And this can relate just as much to verbal literacy as it does reading and writing. So it's a really great opportunity for businesses to engage with schools.
And John, what did you select?
I selected RSPB's Big Schools Birdwatch, which runs for several weeks from the 8th of January through to the 19th of February. I think it's a great time for education resource providers or learning providers to talk to those schools about themes of wildlife, conservation, sustainability. But also it's a time when teachers and students are going to be getting out and about into the school grounds in the middle of winter when the weather's going to be pretty inclement. So a really good time for outdoor learning space providers or canopy providers to reiterate how they can enhance the school grounds.
And that takes place over a wider period of time as well, so there's plenty of opportunities there for your business to get involved with the RSPB one. And there's also Holocaust Memorial Day, which is coming up on the 27th of January too. Obviously remembering a key historical event, but it's also got ongoing pertinence right now. We're also taking a closer look at some of the wider themes that are happening at this time of the year as well. So, Ben, you had a look into wellbeing, I believe.
Yes, well, we have a whole section on our Insights calendar for wellbeing and safeguarding, and the beginning of February is a hotspot really for wellbeing dates to give related businesses a great opportunity for a themed campaign. I say related businesses, but businesses of any type really could engage with schools on a wellbeing theme at this time. It's well documented that post-pandemic, the wellbeing of both students and staff need a significant boost. So anything that businesses can do to engage with that and feel that they can help is a positive thing. 3 to look out for in particular, we've got Children's Mental Health Week, which is on the 5th of February, or from the 5th of February. This year's theme is My Voice Matters, and it kind of, in a way, relates back to the National Storytelling Week I was speaking about a minute ago, encouraging young people to express themselves, and with that, a sense of empowerment coming a positive impact on their well-being. So that's a really key one there. 2 other days, we've got Time to Talk Day, which is on the 1st of February, which also highlights the importance of talking about mental health, not just telling stories, but actually expressing oneself and being able to kind of get those negative feelings or whatever off yourself and kind of share those. As I said, that's on the 1st. On the 6th of February, a key date for EdTech providers and IT businesses is Safer Internet Day. And I have a particular kind of either end of the spectrum covered here, as I've got an 8-year-old daughter and an 86-year-old father who both need careful guidance when it comes to online safety. So a really important one there.
Absolutely, and you're only as safe as the person who's on the end of that keyboard as well. Now also looking into another wider campaign, careers is a huge theme too.
Yeah, that's right. We've got National Apprenticeship Week coming up the 5th to the 11th of February. And that's a great time to contact school leaders, careers advisors, pastoral care staff, reminding them how your solution can help them tick off those 8 Gatsby benchmarks. Just to be mindful as well that Scotland have their own National Apprenticeship Week, and that's a couple of weeks later, 4th to the 8th of March. So important to segment your audience when you're marketing around that subject. There's also International Day of Women and Girls in Science. That's coming up in February. The theme for that awareness day this year is around sustainable development goals. So not only a great time for STEM providers to talk about how to engage girls in the classroom in STEM subjects, but also to talk about sustainability, and that throws this day open to a wider segment of education businesses that can help schools tackle sustainability.
Brilliant. And now, of course, this year the government announced some changes to funding. One of the things that was quite major was for child provision and early years providers. So there's going to be an increase to the amount of hours provided for childcare by the government in 2024. But why is January a time to start that campaign off?
Well, the first big change comes into action in April. So January into February allows schools to prepare for this kind of landmark time, really. The changes are that eligible working parents of 2-year-olds will be looking to use the additional 15 hours of government support being brought in at that time. And this is where recruitment businesses come in. For the parents' point of view, many parents will already have their places booked, but then many will not. So, those places will need filling. The schools will need to be making the most of that government money that's being provided. So that is a really key thing to consider. In addition to that, you've got the practical side of things, schools having enough staff to look after the young children and the resources to do so as well. And we're talking about 2-year-olds here. This is an age range that perhaps primary schools have been less equipped for in previous years. So this is a new outlook and a new challenge for those. The phase is part of a phased extension of childcare over the next 2 years. And if you look at www.childcarechoices.gov.uk, you can find all the information there.
Brilliant. And of course, with more children going into that early years provision, there'll also be more mouths to feed. So catering companies as well might want to be getting involved there. Now, to finish off with all your experience when it comes to supporting companies in their campaigns in January, what would you advise them that they should be focusing on?
Yeah, I think underpinning everything in January is a time where school leaders, teachers, people in general come back after the Christmas break with their batteries recharged and a positive mindset and some New Year's resolutions or some things that they want to achieve in the coming year in their school. And I think it's just key to tap into that mood of positivity, and a great time to contact school leaders about school improvement projects, because I think they'll be really receptive to those kinds of messages at that time of the year.
Brilliant. So yeah, kick the year off with some optimism.
Definitely.
So there you have it, the Education Marketing Hotspots you'll want to harness this January and February. But how can you stay on top of these opportunities throughout the school year? Enter Campus, our industry-leading education marketing platform with live education calendars alongside education news bulletins, global Silent Schools data, and so much more. So you can be proactive in seizing the opportunities for growth in the spring term and the whole year. Contact our team today for a campus demo and elevate your education marketing game.